Hey guys, today we're going to be covering Avatar: The Last Airbender, episode 1, 2, and 3, the live action series. Let's get into it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Till the End of the Line podcast. I am the nerd with the laughs here with
Nerd with the knowledge.
That's right. And as he said, we're going to be talking about the brand new Netflix live action series of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've been crazy excited for this. I don't know, but I know you have.
Yes, we both have.
Absolutely. I binged almost the entire series first night.
Yeah.
Got to like episode 5, and then the missus was like, "I'm getting tired." I'm like, "Damn you!" So I was like, "All right, I'll save it."
I watched till 6.
Till 6? Okay.
Episode 6. Finished 6. I only had 7 and 8 left.
Oh. Wow.
So all on Thursday night. I after work came home. Me and my oldest, we watched it. And then I was like, "Girl, you got school. Go to sleep." And then then I finished 5 and then watched 6.
All right, fair
and
enough.
then I did 7 and 8 on Friday. And then I rewatched the whole thing again with Sophia, and Sandy now has watched it.
Nice. Yeah. Good job, Sandy. Way to go. All right.
And so she just started the animated series last night.
All right. So she's going backwards a little bit, right? So she's watching the live action series first and then going into the animated series.
Yes.
All right.
So I have I explained some things to her of what she's seen through the 8 episodes.
Okay.
And she's asking questions. She's like, "What does this mean? Why are they acting like that? You know, why does he have a scar on his face?" And all that stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, well, some of this stuff will never get explained, but some of the stuff you're seeing when you watch the animated series, you don't find out till the end or the middle of book 2.
All right.
So I think going right into that before I get too deep into talking about it, we got some nerd news coming up.
That's right. We got some nerd news.
Yeah. So
glasses.
I think the biggest thing is the MCU slated movies coming out over the next couple of years. So the next 10 upcoming Marvel movies, and I say Marvel movies, not MCU, because it's MCU and Sony related.
Correct, yeah.
Before we get into that, I recently found out that part of the reason why some of these Sony movies are just missing hard, kind of like Madam Web.
Correct.
And I'm like 80% sure that Craven's gonna flop too.
It's looking like that. I was listening to Film Addicts podcast. Shout out Film Addicts podcast. And Rex was talking about that the same things that happened to Mobius. Mm-hmm. Which one is it?
Morbius.
It's Morbius. Okay. Is happening to Craven. Like the delays and all that shit. He's like, hey, same shit happened with them. It's gonna happen again. You guys are messing up. So I'm really nervous about it.
So Sony has a contract with anything Spider-Man.
Okay. Yes.
And they have to release a movie every 2 years.
Oof. Okay.
So regardless if it's ready or not, I think that's why we've been getting some of the shit things that we have to deal with.
Language.
Writer strike.
That's understandable. Yeah.
Actor strike, production, wanting to have AI and do all that shit. So all of the strikes that have been happening, pandemic related, backed up all the stuff.
Okay.
And there's one thing after another. They needed to put something out.
Got you.
So I think that's why we're getting some of this stuff, because they just don't want to lose the money that Spider-Man brings.
That's understandable.
No, but it's not. It's not. It's shitty.
It is for the fans, 100%. I can understand it from a business standpoint, but that's not what I care about. I care about the content. You know what I mean? So
fair. This is the one time my nerd in me oversees the business side, and I'm just like, this is straight bullshit.
Yeah, which they're gonna start seeing that shit in the box office. So whether the big wigs up there
with Madam Web,
yeah, they did. If whether they realize it or not is up to them.
Right.
So hopefully they do. That reminds me too. I was reading an article about Madam Web and why it did bad.
Well, they changed the script like 6 times.
They did, but there was an article where a avid, I'm gonna call him a nerd because the article did. He drew some parallels with DC's Birds of Prey, that it was very, very similar. So they're following DC scripts, and DC, the way that they work, they're not doing well in the box office movie-wise.
Either, yeah.
So why would you follow that? Because he drew parallels to, in the comics, them 3 working together with, I'm talking about Birds of Prey. They have someone overseeing them with like an overview of the city, and then they're going out doing the dirty work, which is basically how Madam Web ended.
Correct.
So when I read that article, I was like, huh, I didn't see that right away.
Yeah, me neither.
That was interesting. It was a nice read. Yeah, that was a nice read for me.
Okay.
What
but
else
anyways, back into the 10 upcoming Marvel movies, Sony and MCU related. So obviously Deadpool, we're all excited for that.
Absolutely.
This is July, the 26th. I'm super excited. Then Kraven the Hunter, we'll see what happens. Even Venom 3, that's probably going to be a swing. They're saying it's better than the second one, but
I'm nervous about it.
Very nervous, very nervous. There is a lot of talks of possibly seeing a crossover of Venom fighting a Spider-Man.
Yes.
I don't want it to be Tom anymore.
Okay.
I just want Tom to be saved by the MCU.
Gotcha.
Don't let Sony shit all over this.
Well, that reminds me too. The production has started on Spider-Man 4.
Correct.
The script. So
the script writing. Yeah.
The script writing.
But they did confirm that Venom will flash into our timeline of the MCU the way he did in No Way Home.
Scene, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll be in our universe again. Whether he ends in our universe, which I think would be ideal. But we'll see what happens with that.
This is one thing I do like about Tom Holland, is that he says he doesn't want to do it if the script isn't right.
Yeah. If
it's not told right. He has a passion for this character.
He's a great actor.
He's a phenomenal actor. I'm a huge fan of his. So yeah.
And then Captain America Brave New World, nice. That's February of 2025. Okay. So the last 3 I just told you we're finishing off this year. Now right in the beginning of the year, on Valentine's Day, we have Captain America Brave New World.
1 second, you keep doing Valentine's Day,
whatever,
and it's
whatever. Anyways, we got shit to do, bro.
Yeah, got it.
Then we got Thunderbolts, May 2nd, Fantastic Four, July 25th, 2025.
Yep.
So now that's a year and a half away, and we just found out who the cast was.
Yes.
So that's a tight window. I personally don't think we're going to see Fantastic Four until like December 2025, and then probably, if not, 2026.
All
right. So, and then after that, Blade. In November of 2025, but depending, they may possibly just flip Blade and Fantastic Four release dates. If they can get it into 2025, November seems more reasonable because
Mahershala Ali too is more involved in it now, and he's
loves
happy.
The script, he says,
and that's when you get a good film, in my opinion.
Yes,
is when the actors portraying it care about it.
Yeah,
you get better performances and everything. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, we saw how annoyed Dakota Fanning was with the girls. At the end,
and it affected the movie.
Yeah,
it really did.
Agreed. Then Avengers 5, which they now said they are going to scrap the King Dynasty.
That's right. Yeah,
officially it has been said that King's going to be written out, and they're going to scrap King Dynasty, which is fine. Do Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2.
Yep.
End of story. Don't even think harder on it. Just fucking make it that. Because Secret Wars is too big of a movie, or it's too big of a storyline for them to just cram it into one movie.
Yeah.
So, and I had suggested this on a previous episode that if they did King Dynasty, I still wanted them to do Secret Wars Part 1 and 2. Separate, regardless.
Gotcha.
Because I think it's too big of a storyline to skip.
Yeah.
So I think this is the opportunity for them just to make those two, or even another Avengers movie, whatever they name it.
Yeah.
The threat of Latveria, and we get Doctor Doom or some bullshit.
Oh shit!
Like it'd be cool.
I'm really excited to see how they're gonna present Doctor Doom, because he is one of the biggest, baddest villains out
there.
He's
a master of the mystical arts.
Yep.
He's a genius.
Yep.
He has these electric magnetic powers that he has of being Doom.
Yep.
And he's rich as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like Reed Richards, Tony Stark, and Doctor Strange all in one.
But evil.
Well, at times.
He's a villain in the MCU, so whether you agree with him or not is your prerogative, but
I think I agree with Thanos.
Yeah. Hey, he was
snap some of these motherfuckers
he
out.
He had some good points.
If I had that opportunity, some of y'all be gone.
Yep. I know it. And I agree.
And then Avengers 5, then Secret Wars.
Okay.
And there's a year gap from May 1st to May 7th. 2026, 2027.
Yeah.
There's no Marvel movie supposed to be released in between, and I hope they don't fuck it up and put something in between.
Yeah.
Because we got Captain Marvel in between Infinity War and Endgame.
Right.
And very much so part 1 and part 2. They just named them two different movies.
Correct.
And I just think Captain Marvel was just so fucking misplaced.
It really was.
Because it wasn't
her first time portraying the character was at the end credit scene of Infinity War.
Right.
So she had no knowledge about the character, how they wanted to portray it, so it threw it all off.
Yeah.
You know?
And I would rather have had Black Widow in between.
That would have been awesome.
Instead of Captain Marvel.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. I totally agree.
Because then when she passes in fucking Endgame, I would have been like, even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, I told you, I just didn't have excitement to watching Black Widow. Mm-hmm. So I knew it wasn't going to lead to anything.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So they would have built this high.
Heartbreak over and over.
Exactly.
Yeah. For
so
sure. I have a little bit of news about...
one more movie.
Oh, one more
There's
movie?
TBD, but you said that it's in production.
Yes.
It was Spider-Man 4 as the last slotted movie to come out for Sony and MCU.
And what is that?
May 2027 is Secret Wars, so anytime after that.
Okay, so...
But there isn't... It's TBD for the...
okay.
For the release date.
All right. And I think it might be Thunderbolts, right?
What?
Because production just started on that recently.
I'm confused on your statement.
Thunderbolts, the movie Thunderbolts.
Yeah, well, that's coming out in May 22nd, 2025.
Right?
Yeah, it's the 5th movie in a row. Yeah.
All right, that was the news I wanted to say, but I forgot you already talked about it.
Goofy.
It just started production, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm with that too. Absolutely.
Florence Pugh confirms Thunderbolts has started filming and shares her excitement for
which
the
is
film.
Interesting because is Captain America: Brave New World in? It is in production already.
Yeah, they've already.
Actually, they might have wrapped it.
Yeah, they're in post-production at this point.
You're right. You're right.
Scenes and stuff. Yeah. She said it's been a movie we've been desperate to make for a long time, and we finally come together. We've got an amazing cast. So that's
Florence
awesome.
Pugh. That's good.
Florence Pugh says that.
That's good. I'm excited. Yep. I like it.
We have 2 more bits of news, and those are Avatar related, I think.
Yeah.
All right. You got
the Screen Rant stuff, right?
Oh, dude. All right. Yeah. I saw this Screen Rant article, and it talks about how Rotten Tomatoes scored it bad.
Yes. So Rotten Tomatoes gave season 1. It's increased since then, but right now it's at 60%. For the tomato meter, the audio meter is for the audience. Audio.
Wait, what? They're doing audio now? What the hell?
76%. So it has raised since that came out.
76. Okay.
But it was lower before. And then IMDb gave it a relatively good score, like a 7.4.
Okay.
Yeah, 7.4 out of 10.
All right, good.
And it's number 2.
This is why
in popularity right now.
I don't put a lot of stock into Rotten Tomatoes. I just don't agree with theirs.
Yeah, and you told me about the article.
Yeah, especially I found out that they were being sued for taking bribes. I'm like, that made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Because there were certain movies I'm like, why isn't this rated higher? It's a great film.
Yeah.
And we could probably figure out why. I think that's it, right?
So I got one more thing.
Okay.
So Arby's is leading a campaign with the Arby's
logo,
the sandwich.
Okay.
Inside of the Avatar orb that Aang creates at the end of Avatar: Last
Airbender. I didn't see this. Check it out. That's amazing.
It's fucking awesome. They have the roast beef sandwich in the fucking in the Avatar state.
Yeah. Okay.
But I thought that was funny. But no,
that's funny.
The more important thing is we just got this live action. It's been highly anticipated. One of the storylines that I always wanted to have more of is the way book 3 ended.
Okay.
And with Zuko asking his father, "Where's my mother?"
Yes, dude.
So we know that October 2025, the animated series is going to be continued with the OG team back together, but they're in their late 20s.
Nice.
So hopefully they can, find his mom.
And this will be the animated series, right?
Correct. It will be continued as an animated series.
All right.
Do you know the relationship or the importance of Zuko's mom? In
I remember that she's a descendant of one of the avatars.
Her great grandfather is Avatar Roku.
Thank you. All right, that I didn't know that relation, and because I recall the dream state he was in, where he was picturing himself as Aang.
Yeah,
he was like a fever dream or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also, Ozai did some shitty shit to get because Iroh's older than Ozai.
Correct.
He's the older brother.
Yeah.
Technically, should have been
next in line.
Next in line to get the throne.
Yes.
So as we know in episode 4, and as we know in the song, how does this? What's the name of the song that he sings about?
I don't know. You want to look it up?
Soldier Boy
it's
song.
Incredible.
Not Soldier Boy. Hey, yo,
that's exact. That was my first thought. You could know. You could probably determine our age at that remark. But
no, we're not talking about that song.
No, I'm not. You saw it in my face, didn't you? Okay,
I did. I corrected you quick because you were about to be like, "What?"
Yeah, threw me.
No,
okay,
yeah. So he plays the song. So we know Iroh's, spoiler alerts if you haven't seen the animated series, but also in this series. And
pause now, go watch it, and come back to us.
Yeah, so in episode 4, which we won't cover too much, we get a reveal of the funeral of Iroh's son. Yeah. So the way Ozai got power and became the Fire Lord is because during the Battle of Ba Sing Se, Iroh's son died during that siege, and so he withdrew his forces and kind of was looked at as a failure as a general. Yeah, because he used to have all this clout because he was the Dragon of the West. And, he's one of the more powerful firebenders. So because his son passed away, he withdrew his forces. He kind of retreated, and it was a sign of weakness.
A lot of people saw that way, but he was still in mourning of his son, right? Okay.
Correct, and especially the Fire Nation and the original Fire Lord, which his name is, what is there, Dan? Azulan. Azulan was the original Fire Lord at that time. All right. So what's the Avatar? Not Avatar. What am I thinking? Fire Lord Sozin, which is the younger brother. He went to his father and said, "Hey, he's not fit to be a king. He doesn't have a lineage anymore because his son is dead." Okay. And so he wasn't going to have any more kids because of his age, and it was so he kind of manipulated his way in, and Azulan was like, "You dare threaten this lineage and how things are supposed to be done? Your brother is supposed to have the
And then cut to the next day he dies mysteriously. I'm like, oh,
who does?
His dad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like, oh, he just happened to die. Yeah, so you killed your dad.
Because he's like, because of your treachery, I'll allow it, but because of your treachery, you need to sacrifice your firstborn son. Zuko was supposed to be murdered.
I did not know this.
Yeah, so this is the lore from the manga you can get. Okay. Zuko was supposed to be murdered so that Ozai can receive the throne. What? And what they did is the mom sacrificed herself and pretended she was throwing the coup, and that's why she was banished from Fire Nation.
Oh,
nobody knows where she's at. So Ozai hid her to hide also the truth. Okay. And only reason Zuko is still alive is because of his mother. Wow. And that's why Azula in the animated series resents Zuko so much, because her parents' approval mean the world to her. Yeah. But she lost her mother because she feels like her mother favors Zuko over her. Yeah. Because but any mother would save any of their child. She
doesn't know this information either, right?
Correct.
So
that just shows how wicked Ozai is.
That just gave me a lot of understanding to why she's so messed up in the head. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a lot of good information. I did not know.
Yeah.
I'm glad
cool
you saved
ass
it for
fucking
this.
nugget.
Yeah, I'm glad you saved it for this podcast.
I told your wife a prediction, or not a prediction, but a theory that I've had when I watched Korra.
Okay.
And then I went back and rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender. Do you mind if I spoil it? It's not in an episode we're gonna carry today. Talk about today, but we can retouch it again later.
All right, that's fine.
Spoiler
alert coming.
It's gonna fucking blow your mind.
All right.
So we know that the moon spirit gave its energy to
the princess, right?
The princess, okay. Correct. Her name is blinking right now.
I can research it, but if you want to just keep on.
So we know that the moon spirit gave her their entity to her, like not their energy. Yeah. Because she was born stillborn.
Yes.
So I think we know that the next Avatar was supposed to be a waterbender. I think she was born as a stillborn because in the iceberg, Aang's life was almost didn't continue in the iceberg.
Right.
He almost died. So the reincarnation was supposed to be the princess, the next Avatar, and then she, we know Rava didn't transfer into her, because Aang never died. I think because we know that a waterbender was supposed to be the next Avatar.
Brain is currently leaking out because you just blew my mind.
That's why I told her I didn't want to tell you before we filmed because I wanted to get your reaction.
Was I just stunned a little bit? I can't tell my face, but I feel like I was just portraying stunned.
Yeah, you drooled a bit.
I'm sorry. It happens.
But that's a crazy theory, huh?
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it checks out.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
She could have been the next Avatar.
Wow.
And because she was born stillborn, the spirits gave her another chance at life because the natural order of things just kind of didn't work out in our favor.
Okay.
So
that was really cool.
Yeah.
You want to get into these episodes?
Let's fucking do it. Let's do it.
Taking out these glasses. Boom.
Yeah. All right. Episode 1, Aang.
Yes.
I love that they started with the backstory because a lot of the animated series, the first book tells good story building for those characters, but you don't know what the fuck's happening, really.
Correct.
We're like, who's this kid, this goofy ass kid that doesn't want to have this responsibility? Yeah. It's
if you hadn't followed the animated series and you're just jumping into Avatar right now, you're gonna be lost.
Yeah, and if they continued it the way the animated series did, they didn't give much backstory in the first 7 episodes.
The animated series? Correct, yeah.
I mean, we know that the air nomads were taken out, but we don't see that siege on the air nomads until like the end of.
Speaking of which, did you enjoy that scene? This sounds really bad, but I enjoyed the annihilation of the air.
It's fucking adorable.
It's really bad.
Agreed.
But the way it was portrayed was dope as hell.
Airbenders kick ass.
Yes,
because we've only seen Aang kick ass. We've only seen Tenzin kick ass, and now his daughter kick ass. But we've never seen another army, and the fact that they were talking and militarizing the monks, to say, hey, we need to send help to Ba Sing Se to the Earth Kingdom because they think they're going to be invaded. Like they were just on par as all the other nations were. The image I always had of the Airbenders, they were just this peaceful people that were up in the clouds that stayed away from everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I thought they didn't mingle with the everyone on land, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had friendship because we knew that, Avatar had friends in the Fire Nation and Boomy was one of his best friends. But I did not think that they can throw down the way they did.
When I first saw that part, my initial reaction was, oh, this isn't your kid's Avatar.
No.
This is for us grown-ups that grew up with it, and I instantly loved it.
Absolutely.
Like, hell yes, dude.
Hell yeah.
For the kids, go watch the cartoon. This is for the grown-ups now. All right, so that's why I really enjoyed that first episode.
Absolutely. And then we got to see the tattoos on him, and you had mentioned that it looked like
henna. Like
henna
it reminded me. My wife pointed it out. I'm like, or no, I pointed it out to her. I'm like, I like that it kind of reminds me of henna tattoos, just more concentrated.
Yeah,
because she enjoyed the way that the arrow looked.
Me too, because it looked like a tattoo, not like just like blue fucking like someone grabbed a roller and went. You know what I mean?
It looks like it was just painted on. Like, all right, you're good to go.
Spray painted a stencil. you know.
Yeah, and they just have to retouch it every hour, not hour.
But no, I get what you're saying.
Week.
But I did enjoy it. The more tattoo realistic version of it. I like that. It did look more tribal, but it kind of gave some homage to the M. Night Shyamalan because it looked like that one was like more of a tattoo also.
Yeah.
But it was just more space versus yours. What you're saying is more condensed of a tattoo, which I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And then we see like the Comet Fest is something that it was supposed to be a time of celebration.
Yeah.
And it got totally back. Like, they just weren't expecting it.
I was having questions to that. I'm like, wait, they said that they weren't going to talk about Sozin's Comet. So is that... my first thought was, is that a little reference to the OG fans of it? Like,
yeah.
Sozin's Comet. But it turns out it was just a comet at that time. Do you know the name of the comet?
It is. So it was the Comet Fest because they know that happens every 100 years.
Oh, okay. So it was
Fire
Sozin's
Nation
Comet. Okay.
renamed that Sozin's Comet because Fire Lord Sozin was the Fire Lord in that time that used the comet's power to overthrow and annihilate the air nomads.
Okay.
So yes, but I think the reason why they said that they weren't going to touch on the comet is because they weren't going to mention it to happen in a short period of time.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because everything that happens in book 1, 2, and 3, it's all like condensed.
Yeah.
And with the whole aging effect, the Stranger Thing effect, that's what they wanted to get away from that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think very much so the finale is probably going to have Sozin's Comet.
Most likely. Yeah.
I just don't think they were going to mention it now. You know what I mean? Because they did find out in book 2 about the comet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think they can still have fun with the Black Sun.
Yeah,
with the eclipse and when they lose their power.
Yes, dude,
that'd be cool. That the interaction between Aang and Fire Lord Ozai was pretty dope.
So that was episode 1, right?
Yeah,
I don't have any more notes on that.
I love that Gam Gam recited the entire original intro.
That was awesome.
While she was explaining what was happening, I was like, "Oh yes, let's go."
Yep.
I love that we find out what Iroh's. I never knew what Iroh's father's name was, and Iroh and Ozai's father is Azulan, so we find out that's the Fire Lord that was right before Ozai.
Oh, do you think that's what he kind of named his daughter after that?
Azulan, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think so too. And I love that they let Iroh from the beginning. Mm-hmm. He's one of my favorite characters. I'm wearing him. He is my favorite character.
Speaking of which, the actor Paul Sun Hyung Lee, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm a huge fan of this guy, and he's everywhere. Nailing this character.
Yeah, he's pulling Pedro Pascal. He was in Star Wars. He was in a
show on Netflix that I love is called Kim's Convenience.
Yeah,
he did a phenomenal portrayal of that character to where I thought that was his accent, his legitimate accent.
No,
and I was like, oh wait, he speaks really clear English.
Yeah,
so damn, this guy's a great actor.
Yeah, he didn't know he was gonna be. He was auditioning for this part.
No.
Yeah, it was totally kept a secret. And then when they said, "Okay, cool, you're gonna be playing this old man," and Netflix never released the name, the name of the show, and or the name of the character that he's playing. Okay. But when he explained it, he's like, "No way! Oh, that's Iroh." He knew right away what it was. Yeah, I can look it up. We can share it on our page.
All right, cool.
But that was a cool interview, and he like geeked out over it. So he's a big fan of the Avatar: Last Airbender. Let me see. Oh, so anyways, the reason why I brought up Iroh is because I love that we see some interaction that we don't really get until later into book 3 between Iroh and Aang. Iroh shows respect to Aang while he's in prison. Mm-hmm. He's like, "I'll bring you some jasmine tea and all that fun stuff." Like, right away, we see that Iroh doesn't have a hidden agenda. He genuinely loves his nephew. Yeah, and he wants peace. You know what I mean? And when he has that conversation with Aang, he's like, he's like, yeah, like he didn't want to believe the words coming out of his mouth and how he was explaining how horrible the Fire Nation is. Yeah, and it was nice to see that early established because we know with his affiliation with that secret society that I don't want to spoil, but in the future that we'll see. I think it was just kind of setting the stepping stones to introduce that. Gotcha. And then the whole White Lotus tile that he has in a couple episodes later.
We saw that tile, didn't we?
Yeah. So it was nice. I love that they gave homage to him. I think the biggest part. I'm sorry. Biggest part there that was the saddest was seeing Monkey Atsu's corpse The
Dude,
see
that was
Aang lose it,
heartbreaking.
and then he did the burial. I think that I love that they gave him closure.
Yeah,
You know,
that was nice to see.
that's pretty nice.
I did want to point out, what do you feel about the actor keeping his eyebrow? Because I'm like, what the hell?
I don't mind it. It doesn't.
Dedication to the game. Do you either shave it off or have props cover your eyebrow, and then you look just like the animated series?
I don't mind it. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I get it. He
'Cause
didn't
when
want to
you-
shave
when you
off his
get
eyebrow. Yeah,
tattoos, like I've
It'll grow
gotten
back.
burned, and the hair grows back.
because I think I mentioned it on the podcast before. I didn't realize
He didn't have an
he
eyebrow.
didn't have an eyebrow.
I
till
didn't
a
either
while.
until you told me. Yeah.
And my wife is the one that pointed that
Yeah.
out. I was like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah.
Leave it to the women to catch those small details. I think that's it for episode 1.
All right.
Yeah, right? I don't think I have any comments.
So yeah, episode 2 is called Warriors.
Warriors, yeah. And we see, and I love how they changed some of the, so like some people, I think some of the bad reviews that are out there are that they expected it to be a shot for shot adaptation, similar to how Last of Us was.
Yeah.
But they wanted that to be that for the for this live action series, and that's not at all what was happening.
Yeah.
And they openly said that, hey, we are changing some things of the storyline to better fit with the story, the way we're trying to tell it, and so that way we can allow these characters to age a bit, and not have that Stranger Thing effect.
Yes.
So I knew that going in, and I love that they made the adjustment. So like they didn't bring in the pirates, and it was Gam Gam that gave them the airbending scroll. Like in the animated series, they had to steal it. Katara stole it from the pirates, you know, and then that whole interaction with the pirates and those are just sub stories that aren't important.
The only thing that I wanted them to do when I was talking about, I hope that they keep it like Last of Us did with the game to the show, was I wanted the passion in the project to reflect.
I think it was there.
I do too. I totally agree. I see that they are keeping close to the animated series without changing fundamental things about it.
Yeah,
and that's what I didn't. That's why I feel a lot of fans hated the M. Night Shyamalan movie, is because he changed core things that in the film, like firebenders needed fire to bend, which in the animated series they don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's episode 2. I don't think I have any other notes. Let me check.
Well, no, I didn't even go through any of my notes in episode 2.
I enjoyed the Suki training Sokka scene.
Oh yeah, I love that they kind of start falling for each other.
Yeah, you start seeing that spark.
Yeah,
that was really well done.
Quick. Yeah. I think the Kyoshi warriors were portrayed very well. I think Avatar Kyoshi was a badass, how she always was.
Dude, that part where she used Aang to stop the Fire Nation was dope as hell.
As an Avatar.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I love that we get Momo finally.
Yeah, that was
Momo. Appa just looks so fucking cool, dude.
He looks awesome.
He looks really dope. He does look a little scary because he's so fluffy. It's hard to just be scared of him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I would say the funny thing that I miss. Sokka is funny.
Yes,
but he's not as funny as he was in the animated series.
For sure, because he was, again, I am enjoying this actor's portrayal of him because it's more realistic. So he still gives us those lines that are goofy and kind of like quips, and so I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, me too.
And it's not for, what do you call that? The kids. When you're doing something for kids, you make it goofy so kids enjoy it and laugh.
Yeah.
But they're staying true to his personality.
Yeah.
So that's what I am enjoying.
Yeah,
about
I
it.
enjoy it. I was hoping it would be a little more over the top, but I'm not mad at it.
You're not mad. Okay.
I'm not mad at it at all.
All right.
It is way better than the shit we got before. But like, for example, it was really funny when Appa came out of the iceberg in the animated series because he blew snot at Sokka and covered him in snot.
Yeah, that's right.
That would have been funny to see him get
That
covered.
would have, yeah.
Yeah, you know, just like I was hoping for some of those. Like, I'm cool with the quick one-liner, the goofy jokes, but I wanted like at least 2 or 3 instances where like he was just that classic Sokka bad luck that he always had.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was hoping to see that.
We see that, I think, a little bit more later in the series. We won't touch on that now,
Yeah.
but as far as what I saw, I saw it a little bit more and more as the series
How do you
went
feel about the pacing from 1 to 2 to 3? I think the pacing
I enjoyed it.
was fast. It was very fast. I was able to keep up with it, and I think that's why Sandy asked so many questions.
Yeah.
Because there's so much was being thrown on screen.
Yeah.
But we saw the animated series,
So
we knew where that was leading to, or what it didn't lead to, and
Yeah.
where they changed the story.
And shout out to Addy from Film Addicts. That's why he didn't enjoy the first episode. I think he enjoyed don't quote me on this, but because I was seeing his stories and his reviews were getting a little bit better as the show went on, which we were going to be having him on for our finale of this. So if you're a fan of his, watch our stuff too. Yeah. Because this project is very passionate to him, so he wants it done right, which I can understand because I feel that way about Ninja Turtles. When I was growing up, Ninja Turtles were my shit.
I feel you.
So I'm very critical on
Ninja Turtles. Okay.
yeah, on anything done after that. So I was like, all right, I can see that. What else do we got? Episode 3.
Well, we got a lot that we got to talk about in 2. So, so Gam Gam gives the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
They do a tribute to Gyatso. Iroh snaps some goofy knowledge metaphors, which is fun. We get to see that early.
Mm-hmm.
He was very serious in the first episode or 2, and then he got goofy. So right here in the second episode, he's already being goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Commander Zhao, traditional, just condescending fucking little snake that he was in the show is what he is now.
Yeah.
And I'm liking that. And then we get a little bit more of Fire Lord Ozai and like him manipulating. He's very much manipulating every part of the Fire Nation. He's playing these mind games, and Zhao really believes that he can overthrow, and work his way up in power.
Yeah.
And it's just false reality that Ozai's playing.
Yep.
And I think that's where, he's definitely playing with Azula's mentality and her emotions.
Yep.
And so it's interesting that we got to see so much of them early.
Mm-hmm.
Funny fact: did you know that the character that is portraying Ozai was also Hiroshi Sato?
Why does that name sound familiar to me?
From Korra. He was the father.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one that ended up being bad in the first season.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, he voiced him.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he voiced him in for 7 or 8 episodes in the beginning, and then he comes back to stop
Nice.
Kovira.
I think so.
Remember?
Yeah.
Because he's like old as shit now. At this
Oh,
point.
right. Yeah.
And then him and his daughter worked together to stop the big
okay.
giant thing. So he voiced.
The only one that I spotted was my boy Donnie Bosco, or Dante Bosco.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I messed up that name. He came back to play his grandson?
Yes.
Yeah,
his
that was
grandson.
dope.
Yeah. That was dope.
Yeah, I spotted that right away. I'm like, that's awesome. Anything else you got? I didn't write down any notes for episode 3 because I just enjoyed it. So
Got it.
dope.
Let's see. Let's finish off for 2, I think. Yeah, the little romance was cute with Suki and Sokka. The quote that she gives during the training session is what matter. It's not what matters is not the power inside; it's the will and desire that's in the heart. So it's kind of cool to see non-benders do their part.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And they realize that they have a learning curve that they have to fight through by not having being benders.
Yes,
so that was kind of cool to see them highlight that because that's what we are. We're normal people.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see. But she does envy Sokka's freedom to kind of be able to travel the world and do. And then we know later in the series things change for her. But let me see. Aang finally gets access to the Kyoshi, Avatar Kyoshi.
Yeah.
Finally enters that spirit realm, which is cool.
Because are you still on episode 2?
Yes.
All
yes.
right.
Let's see. So, the leader of the Kyoshi Island is Suki's mom, and I don't think they highlight her in the animated series.
Them highlighting her too much. I remember her being the leader of the village, but they didn't really touch on her.
Was she that much of a badass? Where she just fucking throws a whole?
I don't remember them.
When she throws the troop like that,
was dope as
she
hell.
launched his ass. What the fuck was that? I was like, God damn!
Yeah, seriously, I was caught by surprise too. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not see that coming.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, she was ready to throw fucking down.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. I love that they kiss. And
that was nice.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
And then the next episode, or a couple episodes later, with the princess or whatever, and that kind of sucks, but whatever. We know she dies, so that's kind of shitty for Sokka. Has like horrible luck with women so far. Yeah. And then we see that Zhao snitched and ended up telling Ozai that the Avatar was found.
Yep.
And then into 3, that's when we get more Azula, where she's a fucking savage, and she that's called Umashu.
Yes.
So Umashu.
Right.
And she is just like playing this double agent to like get all the fucking the revolutionists, I guess, or like they wanted to overthrow and throw a coup over Ozai within the Fire Nation.
Sneaky shit.
And then she like he's like, isn't that right, Azula? And she like takes the thing off and she's like, ha. I'm like, damn, this girl's evil.
Yeah. Can I tell you at this point, when we first started seeing Azula, I'm like, I wonder when, spoilers coming, but if you haven't seen the animated series, when we're going to start seeing the lightning. I was anxious for that shit. And we get it. I'm not going to say when, but we get it.
And we get coming. A flash of her blue flame too.
Yes.
A brief flash of it.
Yep.
And I like that they're playing. So she has regular fire coming out of her.
Yeah.
And I like that it's a build to the blue flame, because I think that's when she officially loses her shit.
Yeah.
Where she's not really mentally stable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why she's able to generate
blue
that
flame means that the fire is burning hotter. Right?
Hotter. Correct.
Right.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
And then the way Ozai just grabs the traitor and just incinerates his ass.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh shit, we've never seen that before.
That's what I was talking about in the first episode when they first attacked the Air Nation.
Yeah.
He literally incinerated the dude and burned him, and we saw it happen.
Well, but that was more justifiable because they had the power of the comet.
Right. And
Ozai doesn't in episode 3 when he grabs the traitor. So that means Ozai's a beast.
Yeah, he's powerful.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
Right around this episode, we also get Jet. He's using his Riz to fucking flirt with Katara.
Okay.
But around this time within the timeline in Avatar, the animated series, this is where we meet John. And John John's nowhere to be found. Spoiler alert, he doesn't even show up in the series. Which was interesting because he is part of that secret society I was telling you about.
Right.
So you think we'll see him in the next season or in another season? Or they're just going to write him out completely?
I don't know. There's so many factors to play in, whether they can find the right actor, whether the script is good enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of factors that...
Jackie Chan.
Do it.
Let his hair grow out like that mushroom, and then just do the goatee.
I'm with it.
Jackie Chan, absolutely.
I'm a diehard Jackie Chan fan, so anything you put him in, I will watch.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got.
I've got nothing on episode 3. Like I said, unless I didn't write down any notes because I was just enjoying it.
Yeah. I'm trying to
read right here what the little brief. description.
Okay, so we get Cabbage Man back. You know what I mean? So we get the little tease at him. He's like, hey, Mike, and then they cut out, so they don't even show that his cabbages get kind of thrown around. At the end of the episode, we do get, my cabbages.
Yeah.
No, poor guy. That was kind of shitty for him, but oh well.
My wife was hoping that happened. She was waiting for it, and she was very happy.
And I mean, we know he doesn't ever really die or go away because his cabbage corp is a situation in Korra.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know he's gonna be around for a while.
Yep.
And right away, I thought the father and Jet. I knew it was Jet because of the way the hair was.
Okay.
I knew. I was like, he's too much of a pretty boy with the hair. And
I spotted it right away too.
I was like, that gotta be Jet. And
I couldn't remember the character's name.
Oh, but you knew it was.
But
him.
I knew it was him.
Gotcha. And then the explosion happens. I'm like, Jet was there. And then, the character that I didn't know it was or wasn't Jet was there, and then an explosion happens. I'm like, nah, that's Jet. They're going to change the whole damn sequence.
Okay.
I knew right away. I was like, they're going to change the damn sequence.
They did, didn't they?
And it's not even in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't even do anything with the dam. To flood that small city or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so that doesn't happen like how it does in the animated series.
Okay.
They kind of try to sabotage Omashu.
Yeah.
And playing against the Fire Nation spies.
Yep.
So what did check out is the inventor. He was a leak within the Earth Nation, selling ideas to the Fire Nation so that they can create engines of war, the blimps and all that stuff. And it was really for safety for him. Mm-hmm. But in the animated series, he was in the Northern Air Temple, wasn't he?
I forget which. I know he was at an air temple. I forget.
But he wasn't in Omashu originally.
Northern sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because the Southern they went to, but they didn't see anybody there. So they went to
and
the
that's
northern.
where Aang sees the kid flying his son in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And flying around, he thinks it's another airbender.
Yeah, but they're in the Northern Air Temple instead of the Southern. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they changed the story around there, which I was not upset about.
No.
And I'm okay if they don't ever highlight the Northern Air Temple because there was nothing there anyways.
Yeah. Fair
But, there was the temple because he used airbending to blow through the horns.
Okay.
To open it, and then behind her was the all of the avatars.
Yeah.
Remember? So he uses that to get in to connect with the other avatars. So maybe they will highlight that in season 2.
All right.
Because he uses that to communicate with them. But I did like that they changed. Oh, I guess it didn't happen in this one yet. Let me just put a brakes on that.
All right. Yes, we're only covering to episode 3 today, so don't go past that.
The father obviously is a traitor, sus, but he ends up, making it right at the end.
Okay.
And Iroh sacrifices himself for Zuko, so Zuko can get away, which I was pretty cool with. I think episode 3, out of these 3 episodes, episode 3 was my least favorite.
Okay.
Because you can't have Omashu and not highlight Boomy. We see him at the end, but if you don't know he's Boomy, then you don't know he's Boomy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was the only. I think 3 right now is my least favorite episode. Of the first 3 episodes.
I've got a little fun fact for you, but about the. Do you know who the actor is that's playing him? That's coming in episode 4. So I don't know if you want to cover that now, but
that plays who? Boomy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was.
You recognize him?
Yeah. He was in Pitch Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew that. So yeah. He's doing a great job at portraying him.
Yeah. Agreed. I was able to tell from the raspy voice when I first watched it. I was like,
I found that familiar.
Out, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yep. I know exactly what this is.
I found that out before seeing the series. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh shit, he's playing him nice. All right. But I've got nothing else, man, on episode 3 unless you do.
What are some of the things that you really like so far?
I'm enjoying the character portrayals. I think all these actors are nailing it as far as the animated series goes. I'm enjoying their portrayals of it. So
okay.
Mm-hmm. And the action's sick. CGI is pretty on point. I'm happy with the series so far.
How do you feel about the action?
Action's awesome. Well, we're up to episode 3, right? Right now.
Yes.
I've seen the entire series, and the action does get better.
Agreed.
as it grows. So if you're a fan of action and you're waiting for it, continue with the series because it's coming.
Yes. I do like I'm trying to blow this up really quick.
Okay. We're still here, audio only listeners.
I like the. So the reason why people didn't like the M. Night Shyamalan version of it was because of the way they used their bending. It was just not as organic as it seemed to be in the animated series. And I love that the animated series highlighted the corresponding martial arts that represented each of those elements.
Okay.
So Wing Chun was the was airbending, and then Tai Chi is waterbending.
Okay.
Hungar is earthbending,
All right.
and then Southern Shaolin, Northern Shaolin Kung Fu is the firebending.
Okay.
So waterbending Tai Chi was very flowy and filling it and using the energy within yourself, but also against them. Hunkar is more for earthbending. That's more like brute force and solid ground, opening your footing, and like having a really good center of gravity. So like you're immovable like a rock is. You know what I mean? So that checked out cool. And then the Northern Shaolin Kung Fu is very flaring and similar to like Taekwondo, where there's a lot of round kicks and aggressive nature, a lot of you know, and which is very much up the alley of firebending. And then what you call airbending being Wing Chun. Very nonchalant, super defensive, flowing, but just like never. You don't really ever have to attack with it. You know,
Wing Chun, isn't that the style that Bruce Lee, like dove deeper into because of Yip Man? Like he's the one who started that. Okay.
Oh yeah. Because we see in Enter the Dragon was the movie where they go against each other.
I believe so. I just remember seeing that in one of the Yip Man movies. Yeah, and that's what sparked that memory. So I just wanted to verify.
It was just cool to see how they paid tribute to it, and they, you know, these actors, younger kids, some of them were portraying a martial arts that takes years to master. Yeah, and they made it look very effortless. Yep. And whether they have already previously trained in some type of martial arts where they're disciplined in it, I couldn't tell if they were or weren't. You know what I mean?
The live action series?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
shout out to them, man. They're doing a fantastic job.
Agreed.
Yeah.
For me, that's what does it. That's what sold this movie or this series for me, and that's what got me hooked in this. Because when you're a kid, like when you watch this, I guess I wasn't really a kid. I think I was like 16 or 17 when the animated series came out. But
you were still enjoying it.
Yeah, I was still enjoying it. I was very much so just still going through puberty, full of hormones, and you know, very much so sitting in the pool trying to waterbend, like, you know. Dope. Nice. So, and like I remember me and Bobby would like make jokes and we'd fart like, we airbended. Yep. You know, just goofy shit. But like it's a really entertaining series. I hope they greenlight the second season.
So it's already. Well, I won't say it's already because I could have sworn I saw that it's got picked up. I don't want to say that on record, but I do know that I read an article about Netflix series and the way they structure who they bring on or what shows they bring on. Yeah, they need an ending. I don't know if this has changed since the last time I've seen that, but they won't put a show on it unless it concludes.
I mean, but like if you look at like Daredevil,
well, that story concluded. It got picked up later because MCU grew, and you know they wanted Disney Plus was coming out, so Disney Plus wanted the rights. And
Iron Fist, it ended like there was going to be more, and it just never happened.
Correct. So, but that was Netflix's show, so they decided to end it. What I mean by that is, Nikita. They brought Nikita on. They didn't like how it ended, so they said, "Hey, we'll give you one more season to finish the story."
Oh, and then I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So if Netflix is starting this, I hope they pay attention more to the fans and less the ratings and of like statistics, whether it's bringing in money or not.
It definitely is. It's number one.
So I'm pretty sure it's going to get a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it does because I'm a huge fan of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be really disappointed if they leave it like this.
Same.
I'd be really sad.
Same.
Actually.
Yeah, I might shed a tear in anger.
I will.
You will?
Yeah, I'll cancel my subscription. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm just kidding. No.
You'll just be very pissed.
Yeah, I'll be very pissed off.
I've got nothing else, man, unless you do.
No.
No?
No.
All right, well, stay tuned for episodes 4 through 6.
Yep.
Coming soon.
Yep.
Hopefully next week. I'll try to get that in next week. All right, cool. Geeky, you already know this, but I'm going to tell you anyway, man. I am with you.
To the end of the line.
Thanks, guys.